Welcome out to BluSky TV. This is Coach Matt. I'm going to be navigating the financial markets for the next 2 hours with the BluSky team here, talking a little bit about technical analysis along the way. But before we get into anything here today, first and foremost, BluSky is having some wonderful evaluations. Got the Orbit plan. Just head over to the website, hit the link in the description below, and you can see some amazing evaluations that you can start to kickstart your awesome trading career with BluSky. With that said, welcome everybody out to the technical lab. We're going to be doing some technical conversations from a live market perspective today. And really kind of what I want to do early, because this was a catalyst day in the marketplace. By the way, just welcome out everybody and let me know if you're long or short as you come into the lab and power hour later on today. I am currently short NQ. I just got into a trade on the NQ just recently. We'll be talking about that throughout the session here. I just want to kind of show you my technical read there. But once it kind of clipped the 600 level, I was feeling a little bit froggy here, a little bit of a deeper bearish retracement. Bearish retracement really holding firm right there against that 20-period moving average. And then you see that turnaround story. And right when it broke support here, that's kind of where I got involved. Stop loss right above that 9 EMA on the 15-minute time frame. I also want to take a quick look at gold, as gold is also going through a little bit of bottoming analysis right now, team. Sitting at a really important level here. Could be a shortable situation underneath the 40 level. Could be a little bit of a reversal situation later on today. But keep an eye on this 40-41 level on the GC contract as well, as that is fighting a little bit about support. But you can't really tell the story of the market today without talking about what's going on with crude oil here. Crude oil, once it got above 85, and I talked about this a couple days ago when crude did get above 8. Well, actually yesterday when crude got above that 85 level, I talked about how it could be a quick journey to the 100 level, and not the 100, but the 90 level. And it was a fairly quick journey to the 100 level. However, excuse me, the 90 level. I keep thinking about 100 because there's an old saying, team. If it breaks 90, 90% of the time it goes to 100. And that's kind of what we're doing on crude oil. And that's really the story of today. There's some fascinating conversations in the market today, whether you're talking about Google's earnings report, Tesla's earnings report, ServiceNow, Texas Instruments, IBM finally releasing their actual numbers. There's a lot of very interesting earnings conversations, and we'll certainly talk about those as we go through the lab here today. But really the story of today, and I do think the story of the market right now, is the geopolitical situation and the constant escalation we're seeing in the geopolitical side of the equation. For example, crude oil is on a rocket ship right now. And it's not like a Falcon 9 rocket. It is a smooth journey, like a very consistent trend here. Ever since we broke out at 85, this trend has just been lights out on crude oil, team. Up, 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 up. And not only are you seeing crude oil go up on escalation on the geopolitical side of the equation, but you're also seeing a scenario where now the Houthis out of Yemen are targeting the Saudi Arabian oil shipping containers out of the Red Sea, and that's adding to this fuel that is really driving crude oil right now. And when you're looking at crude oil up, 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 look at the momentum in the last few candles here, team. Pretty consistent momentum here, pretty consistent pricing here. And now you're actually seeing at the top end of a trend, when you're already overextended, you're actually seeing it separate from the momentum. You're actually seeing more momentum happen here as we do get above that 92 level. And when you come into the daily chart, I don't think anybody should be surprised if we're talking about $100 on crude oil in the next week and a half, I would say. Obviously highly sensitive and dependent on the geopolitical side, but this is the story of the market today. Once again, I know there's other fascinating conversations around the intraday technicals, Google, ServiceNow, IBM, Texas Instruments, Tesla earnings. But this is the story of today. And why that's important is because as long as oil goes up, which means as long as the dollar goes up, oil and the dollar right now are correlated together, team. And so that's not all the time, by the way. That's not all the time. Not in any capacity is that all the time. But right now they are correlated, given the fact that every time we see increasing geopolitical situations, oil goes up, dollar goes up. The reason dollar goes up is because GCC countries have to dump gold to buy dollars. And so gold goes down, dollars go up, and that creates a scenario where it puts a lot of pressure on the actual market itself. And it's what Jaja, that's a great point. It pushes equities down. It does. However, the way I personally see it on the equity side of the equation, how I personally see it is it caps out performance. You have a ceiling on the market right now. And because you have a ceiling on the market right now where markets can't breathe because of the constant geopolitical headlines right now, constant escalation. Today, 2 shipping containers out of the Red Sea got targeted by the Houthis, for example. That caps out performance. And so whether Google comes out with an outlandishly amazing report, whether Tesla comes out with an outlandishly amazing report, whether Taiwan Semiconductor does last week, whether ASML does last week, whether JP Morgan does last week, earnings environment is absolutely lights out fantastic right now on the macro side of the equation. And what are we seeing? We're seeing stocks go down on earnings, and not only go down, they go down on the release of EPS numbers, guys. Like the market is saying right now, sell first, ask questions later because of the cap. And so you're absolutely right, Jaja. It puts a lot of pressure on the market in the short term, and that drives it down, and that creates a path of least resistances to the downside here. And so when we come in and we look at, and this is kind of where I really want to start is before we get into the intraday side of the equation, where I really want to start is looking at the entire landscape here. Take a deep dive technical look at the S&P 500, at the NASDAQ, to get a real deep understanding of not just what's happening today, but what's happening from a big picture perspective on the technical side of the equation. And how does that help us see the intraday side of the equation? So I'm going to come out to a long time frame, and I'm going to bring up the monthly chart. And the reason I'm going to bring up the monthly chart, guys, is for one simple reason. Everything we're seeing on the daily chart, all the chop, all the nonsense, everything we're seeing on the intraday side of the equation, all the chop, all the nonsense, everything we're seeing there is literally absolutely nothing to the longer term side of the equation. The longer term side of the equation on the monthly chart, we started a new leg 3-4 months ago. You're just seeing that hesitate here in what's called a secondary pattern in that overall trend. There is not a flaw against the longer term analysis when you're talking about the S&P 500. When you're talking about the NASDAQ, not only is there not a flaw in the long-term story, it's actually a very positive long-term story. And so again, everything we're seeing in this short-term side of the equation is what's called a fractal pattern or a fractal trend within the larger construct of the overall market. When you come into the weekly chart, you see a little bit of a bird's eye view of what's really happening here. And what we're seeing on the NASDAQ is this slow but surely slowing momentum, turnaround story, U-shape analysis. And when you see a U-shape, markets can pivot in a couple of different ways. Markets can V-shape pivot to create a very compelling bullish retracement narrative, or they can U-shape, which takes on a little bit of this and then this. Now, not every retracement is created equal. When you're looking at the rounding top on the NASDAQ here, that's got a lot of slowing momentum in it. And now you're underneath that 9 EMA because of the slowing momentum, which would put the NASDAQ on radar for pullback analysis. And so when we're looking at the NASDAQ, you got the NASDAQ as a slowing momentum rounding top on the weekly chart with an edge to the downside with the potential correction in mind. Correction would bring the NASDAQ down to around 26,000 here on the longer term side of the equation. When you're looking at the same analysis on the ES, you do not have a rounding top. And that's a very important distinction, team, because you have a very similar pattern, but one is a flat-lined resistance level with some pretty flat-lined horizontal, creating more consolidation. You would not be anticipating that same correction in the ES as you would the NASDAQ, because the ES obviously reflects much more areas of the market than say the NASDAQ 100 does, which really kind of reflects Max 7, semiconductors, and the AI trade. The ES does a little bit of the same thing, but it also represents utilities, healthcare, staples, energy, basic materials, finance, industrials. And when you're looking at industrials, for example, today, not only is not anything bad happening, we're seeing some really good situations on the daily chart on industrials. And so you're seeing the market be mixed here. The NASDAQ, which has been the problem child in the market from the longer term side of the equation over the last month or so, continues to be that. Now, when you're looking at the daily chart here, team, obviously a violation here on the ES right here. And so you're looking at base neutrality in the on the daily chart with a violation of support right here as the market starts to go down. And that's where we come into the intraday side of the equation. We're seeing slowing momentum at the top end of those longer term trends. Market is starting to get a little bit crabby, and the market's starting to entertain a little bit more of the pullback situation. So let's come in and let's look at the market here, and let's just try to understand a little bit of the technical conversation here today. Now, team, let me know who here is flat, short, long. Like right now, where's everybody at? Are you flat, long, or short? Right now, I am currently short as we speak right now. I have a short on the NASDAQ right now. Flat, Jaja, good. Ricky, flat. Okay, so flat but looking, right? Flat but looking. Here's what I saw, which really kind of led me to the ultimate short. Um, not earlier in the trend. I wasn't trading here, okay? But later in the day. Mike, that's exactly what I'm looking at. Like that's my exact thing is what you're looking at right there. I'm looking for a retest against the low of the day. I'm not looking for it to do anything crazy underneath the low. I'm just looking for this to retest the low. I am seeing some momentum shifts in the trend, and so I do think it's a little bit aggressive to target underneath the low here, but but the low feels like a pretty good target right now at this point. And so when you're looking at the market today, a lot of this technical damage was done in the early morning session, even before the cash open here today. Remember, last night we got some negative news. We got a negative impact to the earnings. You saw that on the reopen. Then you saw escalation on the overnight session where Europe sold pretty aggressively here coming into the cash open. Now, the cash open, I don't trade the New York cash open. I come in a couple hours after that typically. But yeah, man, tough cash open candle for the bulls. I can tell you that right now. You look at that nice little pump up here and getting a little bit of those bulls, a little bit of hope, getting above this very, very important 74.75 number. That's the daily low over the last 4 days. Got a little bit fooled here. This I felt was a pretty good little opportunity after it redialed in and broke right here. I felt that was a really decent opportunity right there, coming down into that 74.20 level. Now, for me, the current trade setup did not occur here. That was the previous trade setup. The trade setup that I'm talking about that I'm in right now was basically, you see this bearish retracement here on the 15-minute chart coming all the way up. This is what I consider, especially when you clip the previous low in the pattern. So you got this previous low point right here. it starts coming back up, up, up. And do you see how it gets above the 90 MA and then it gets above that pivot point right here? This is what I call a deeper bearish retracement. And when you're dealing with deeper bearish retracements, you can't really just pivot and go because there's too much buying activity there. By the way, the volume on that told a very compelling story. Low volume on that pullback told you that that was nothing but profit taking. But the point is, when you get a deeper pullback like that, and it gets above the 15-minute 90 MA, it gets above the pivot, still bearish, obviously, because you got a lower level of resistance here. You got a lower level of resistance here. But what I like to see there is you can certainly play the pivot, but when you come into the 5-minute chart here, you'll see kind of what I saw here. You see how it gets up into there. And there you're looking like on the 5-minute chart, you're honestly trying to convince yourself as a bull there. No doubt. I wasn't. I was looking at the 15-minute chart, but I could see why the bulls would look at this level being like, are we recovering? Are we going to recover? Are we going to recover? Are we recover? But that's where it comes right back down. And then do you see this base right here? You see how the 5-minute it comes in, the 15-minute is battling the 20-period moving average here. It comes right back down and then bases. That's what I like to see. This is what I call a gator's mouth, by the way, where the deeper retracement comes back down and bases and then violates. That has a very good probability of getting back down into the low price. And so, all things being relatively equal, I would suggest that this thing is a journey to come test this 7420 level. And when you look at it on the NASDAQ here, you can see it even a little bit more pronounced. You see the NASDAQ pulling back up in, very clean test against the level, whereas the ES got above that, the NASDAQ kind of came into the level. And then as it kind of set up right here on the 15-minute chart is just pivoting back down. But as it sets up there on the 5-minute chart, right here at the 600 level, this is where I got involved, right underneath that this 600 level. And so this is my current trade, stop loss right above pivot, letting that one play out a little bit. And so bears have control of the price, but I think what let me erase some lines, get into the intraday here again. I think what's kind of very interesting though is and Sinister, I'm right there with you. It was a crazy pricing day. Um, and that's before we even talk about Google, quite frankly. But I'm right there with Mike in the sense that I feel like this story wants to come down and test these pivots, wants to come down and test the low of the day. We'll have to wait and see on that. But what I find fascinating today is after the initial cash open selling, we haven't seen any real aggressive follow through to that either. And so it's certainly a negative dark cloud in Jamie Dimon. You guys know who Jamie Dimon is, obviously, the head of JP Morgan. He loves to talk about the dark clouds. And there's not a darker cloud on the horizon right now than the geopolitical situation happening right now with what's going on with crude oil up, 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 up. And so, with all those dark clouds today, the market complaining about Google's capex spend. By the way, like glad Ace isn't here a little bit. I haven't seen Ace here today because he could get me triggered on a soapbox very quickly on the market complaining about capex spend. It's a 45-minute soapbox diatribe, but the market is complaining about Google capex spend today. I'm not. I actually like Google around the 200-day moving average. I think the market has Google completely wrong here today. But the market's complaining about it today. The market's complaining about crude oil going up and the dollar going up and the uncertainty of the geopolitical situation. There's dark clouds in the market today. That is undeniable. However, it still stands out to me that we haven't seen a violation of the ultimate intraday question, which means we haven't seen a violation of the weekly low here, despite massive escalation. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen a violation of the pattern here yet. And so despite negative Google, despite negative Tesla, despite negative ServiceNow, despite negative crude oil, despite negative dollar analysis, despite these dark clouds on the market did the most damage on the overnight session. And then from the cash open on, we're slightly down with a pivot point at that same low. And so I find that fascinating, to be honest with you, because everything negative that could have happened to the market today happened. And the market is down. Obviously, it's down 2% in the NASDAQ, but healthcare up, industrial up, energy up, utilities up here today, mixed market in general. RSP, which represents the equal weighted index, is down 0.5%, and it hasn't really done much of anything here. And so, even with all of the negativity that happened here today, we really haven't seen a violation of anything aggressively yet. And a lot of the technical damage, especially when you're looking at the NASDAQ here, was from the overnight session on the geopolitical situation down. This is Google, guys. Google gapped down. The NASDAQ was recovering. The NASDAQ was recovering here. This is the geopolitical side. This has nothing to do with Google's pricing. That's after London's cash open. That's been 6 hours since we got Google's analysis. And you saw this just dump here as we saw that escalation, and specifically the Houthis firing on those Saudi Arabian oil containers really drove a little bit of volatility on the overnight session. But from the cash open here, that's what we're down. And now we're hesitating. And that stands out to me. And so as of right now, I do see a little bit of a double bottom test. That would be an actual triple bottom test. We're seeing a little bit of slowing momentum here. My stop loss right now is right above this 600 level here. And this is where my ultimate target is, right there at the 423. Well, actually, it's probably, let me look for certain. Yeah, it's right here around the 435 level. That won't be my scale out target. That is like, if we get some rips your face off volatility back down to the low, that's where my ultimate target is. But I'll probably start scaling out along the way. But that's how I see it. And when it does get to this low point here, guys, this is an if A then B scenario, because if A, we get to the low point, like that pattern here is going to be fascinating. Do we get a W formation? Do we get a cup and handle? Do we get a descending triangle? What type of pattern at this level is very, very interesting here, because when you get off those shorter term time frames and you look at it from a big picture perspective, team, underneath this level here on the daily chart, underneath that exact same intraday low level on the weekly chart, you got at least 800, about 500 points, about 500 points on the NASDAQ before you sniff anything from a support perspective. And so there is some open air underneath the low points there. And what that tells me is the buyers are going to fight for that. It's going to, because this is not a minor level team. Like, this is not just an intraday low. This is this same intraday low that we dealt with earlier in the week. This is the same intraday low we dealt with last week. This is the same intraday low we dealt with 4 weeks ago. This is the ultimate support level against that weekly slowing momentum chart. And if the NASDAQ is going to form what's called a correction, meaning we start talking about the NASDAQ not through a pullback situation, but through an ultimate correction, meaning 5 to 10% down in price, well, it's going to clip this level here at the 433 level. And so keep an eye on that level, team. That is a very, very important level in the market. I don't know if it's the most important level in the market. There is some other levels that are important, but I would say this zone right here is the ball game for the bulls. Like, they got to hold here. If they don't hold here, we could see all the way down here. That would not be a shocking conclusion if we don't hold up here. And so if you're kind of flat looking keep your eye on this support level on the NASDAQ, because it's one of those levels that is going to attract major buyers to defend. It's one of those levels that every bear is going to be interested in. And by the way, I guarantee what the bears are going to say when we get to that level. If we get to that level, I should say, I can guarantee you what the bears are going to say. They're going to say, you first, you first, you first. It's a major level. It will take a minute to break that level, in my opinion. So as of right now, still underneath 600. Market's forming up a little bit of a bearish retracement on the 5-minute chart, as you can see here. Just a little bit of rounding, kind of testing that ultimate level at 600. By the way, I do think you can hit reverse above 600. So my bearish thesis is alive and well underneath 600. Above 600, that's violating some trend lines there, team. Let me see if I can convince myself on a longer time frame. That would be a violation of the pivot on the 15-minute chart. 20 dailies getting there. That opens up 100 points. That's a very interesting level, team. Like, don't be surprised if I get stopped out, if I hit the reverse button there at the 600 level. I feel like there's two levels of importance here that are a little bit more important than others. Resistance here at 600 on the NASDAQ. A lot of epicenter of resistance right there. Old pivot points, moving averages, significant whole number, lots of analysis there at 600. Buyers are looking above that level. That's why I have a stop loss above that level. But until then, this is a bearish pattern. So let me see that. Getting a little testy. Getting a little testy there. By the way, looking at GC here. I like the reversal playing out here. Got to start breaking something though, team. Look at that trend line right there. That's an 8. That's a descending triangle pattern. Horizontal support, vertical reduction of resistance, pressures being put on that breakdown. If we break back up above that trend line, could get a little bit of love up into the mid 60s here. I like kind of gold right there. For the gold bears, there's a 40-point pocket underneath the 40 level. So keep an eye on that. How many of you guys trade gold? Who here has never traded the GC contract? That I'm interested in that. Like, of everybody here who has traded the gold contract before, who has not traded the gold contract before. Very interested in knowing that. I know everybody here trades the NQ, trades the ES, and whatnot. I kind of like the development. I know, Jaja, you have. Yeah, Micro Mike. Yeah, Sinister. That's where I like it the most, honestly, is during the Asian session. I always have a tendency to spot check gold during the Asian session, but I kind of like this setup right here that is playing out on the GC contract. I won't lie, I do have a partial already going into it, but I kind of like the overall setup here. Eric, I don't think futures people, if you've never traded gold before, I don't think futures traders should start. Gold wouldn't be the instrument I would tell people to start with. But if you have experience trading futures in the NASDAQ and the ES, it can be a really, really fun vehicle to trade. I haven't done a lot of trading on gold recently. Shockingly, I mean, and truly, this is shocking to me, but I've done more day trading on crude oil than I have on gold recently. I've kind of enjoyed trading crude oil over the last couple trading sessions, to be perfectly honest. Ever since I drilled that 85 breakout from a couple days ago, it's just been like, all right. If they're going to escalate nonstop for day after day after day, it's time. Seeing a little bit of shifting volatility on the crude oil chart here, by the way. I don't have anything currently on crude oil. I have a very small partial in the reversal on gold on a long, and I have the short on the NQ. is what I personally have right there. So gold is an instrument that does have some interesting development here. Once again, like my personal recommendation is if you trade gold, wait to have it close above the 50 handle. That's kind of where the epicenter of this trend line converges against that right there at the 50 level. And so just waiting on a close above 50 would give you a little bit of an edge back to these wicks around the 64 level. And then above 64, if you come out to a longer term, 30-minute chart's fine. I'm just trying to see where it can go. I do think you got to target the 80 level, maybe even that wick at 74. So break back up, target the pivot at 64, and then secondary right around this wick low at 74, maybe the 80. 20 points on gold is different than 20 points on the ES, though. But just keep an eye on that one. Let's go back to the NQ here. Yep, see that bearish retracement right here, just kind of coming into trend line, really kissing that pivot. That's why the stop loss above that significant whole number, very, very important. Yeah, that's the thing with the 600 for now, but that's why we put a stop loss above that level, right? Like I love the, like, honestly, when people ask me what is my favorite stop loss rule, I always think about one thing, honestly, and this doesn't change if I'm day trading or if I'm swing trading. I always think about what if I'm wrong, right? What if I'm wrong on the analysis? And in doing so, there's got to be a point where you're proven wrong. Like I have a trade idea, okay, that once we broke down out of 600, that we were going to come down and ultimately test the lows. Now, I don't feel like it has to test the lows for this to be a good trade. I think we could certainly look here at 500, and I certainly think you could scale out right around that 40 level, Jaw. But in terms of the overall analysis, my trade idea was, all right, we're pivoting on the 15-minute chart. We're basing at that 600 right here. And then once it broke, I'm in, right? Well, at what point are you wrong? Because I see so many times people put a stop loss at a level that they're not wrong. Like they get stopped out and they get frustrated, but they weren't wrong. They're still right on the analysis. Their stop loss was wrong. And so I always think about when I'm putting a stop loss into the market, what is the epicenter of my trade idea? That we're breaking 600, which is a pivot, confirming the 15-minute pullback. And as long as it stays under 600, I don't want to get out. I don't want to get out as long as it stays under 600. And so, yeah, if it's going to come back up into 600 and test that, that's why we have a stop loss above 600. I'm willing to give it that room. But if you go above 600 here, at that point, I'm proven wrong. And when I am proven wrong on the trade, I do want to get out, but I do not want to get out of the trade just because the intraday is doing this number over a 15, 20, 30-minute time frame. I want to get out if I'm proven wrong. And so, for example, if I'm looking at a swing trade on the daily chart and it's pulling back and it's pivoting like that, I don't ever put a stop loss above pivot. Get that stop loss under pivot. That's exactly what you're saying that the market's going to hold there. And so whenever you're talking about a stop loss placement, and just kind of think about the thesis of your trade. Why are you making that trade? Well, at what point are you wrong on your analysis then? Because when you're wrong on your analysis, I want to get out. I absolutely want to get out. But if I'm still right, and just because the trade shows a little red in the short term doesn't mean I'm not right. It just means we're going up and down a little bit. And so I just think the stop loss above 600 on that trade idea is exactly where you should. And you saw it kind of play out here as the market was testing up, and where to get into 600 right here, battled there for about 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, come right back down. Now that just tells you the 600 is the right level, right? That's what it tells you, is that 600 is the right level. And yeah, that's why I'm like, you can easily scale out a little bit here at the 40 to the 50 level here, because you do have a little bit of a short-term pivot there. I'm not going to, because that wasn't the structure of my trade. My trade is, I'm not scalping that 600 to 50 level, but I can certainly understand why somebody else did. I'm doing a little bit of a longer term on the 15-minute chart, so I'm going to trust the analysis there. And that's just one of those things where I'm willing to take the L here, because I want to stay true to the structure of my trade. Like, I'm very happy if you got your scale out, like extremely happy that you got your scale out, but that's your trade. You know what I mean? You've traded your trade. I need to trade my trade. And the reality is, I'm not going to adjust until we're underneath, because we haven't seen the expansion yet, and I don't adjust until I see the expansion. And so, but like I say, like if I was the scalper here, not the day trader, but if I was the scalper, I'm absolutely doing the exact same thing you were. I'm looking at this base here between 40 and 50, and if I could get anything close here, boom, done, lock it in, don't even think about it. Absolutely right there with you, brother. And when you do look at that on a 2 minute or a 1 minute time frame, yeah, you get your little inverted hammer candle off that 600 test right there. See it come right back down to the lows, trading that level down to that level. That looks absolutely fantastic. And so, like, whenever I talk about, like, I wouldn't scale out, I'm not trying to criticize anybody else for scaling out, because everybody's going to trade a different time frame. And if somebody's trading this on a 1 minute time frame, 2 minute time frame, I'm doing the exact same thing you guys are. Like, that's a good scale out level on those shorter term time frames. It was basing there for a good 15 minutes, especially on those 1 and 2 minute time frames. That's going to look like a massively important level of support, right? You look at this right here on a 2 minute time frame, like, oh, that's getting dialed in. That thing is just absolutely dialed in. That's like cement at this point, right? You look at that on a 15-minute time frame, and you're like, oh, there's a couple wick lows. But you just see it through a different lens, right? 1 minute warrior, absolutely. Get your free 40, 50 points, and do it again. Do it again. Now, with that said, Jaja, I would also be willing to take that low point right here if we see that kind of get underneath this wick low right here. Because if you are trading that on that 2 minute time frame, like the way I would see this 2 minute time frame, if I was completely you're good, Sinister. You're good, Sinister. Ask again, and I'll definitely get into it. When you get back, tell me, and I'll get into yours. Okay, I haven't answered it yet, Sinister. So we're all good. We're all good. But if I was looking at this 2 minute time frame here, Jaja, like, you got a 60-point range. I see this as a K trade scenario on the 2 minute time frame. Like, there's no trend here on the 2 minute time frame. It's just base neutrality. And so if you're looking at the breakdown, you got to get it underneath the low. If you're looking for the breakout, you got to get it above the high, or you could just kind of play the ranges here. But yeah, I guess my general point here is, if you are trading that 2 minute time frame, or if you're on that 1 minute warrior, still keep an identification on that 43 level. Because if we do break this 43 level, like, even that's kind of the same kind of base over here. Like, you see it kind of dancing on this 2 minute pivot point right here. That's kind of what it's holding up right now. If that thing violates, that's down to there. And that's another 50, 60 points. And so that's the thing about those 2 minute, 1 minute warriors. I might be in one trade, you might take 3 trades, and we might all be doing the exact same thing. We're just doing it on a slightly different time scale. Sinister, other than price difference of the two levels, do they take more in fees if the trade hits your stop loss, or if you straight out cancel it? You know, if you cancel, no fee is ever paid in terms of a commission cost on adjusting an order. So, like, you just to adjust an order to pull it off, it has to be transacted, and it doesn't matter if it's a target or a stop loss. Now, if you're trading outside, like prop, your margin's going to change based on what happens in the overall trade and how long you carry and the risk associated to that and the volatility as well. I mean, those things do adjust, but the commission cost on your target or your stop loss is the same. And there is a futures commission, unlike options. There's no options commissions. Well, there's some options commission. There's no stock commission anymore. There's still a commission on futures trading, but it's doesn't really impact the what I would say is the target versus stop loss, very similar. But if you cancel an order, there's no commission on canceling an order. You can adjust a stop order all day long if you want. So kind of just meandering there inside the range. Once again, keep an eye on this trend line, team. This is a dominant trend line on the current pattern here. If we have not closed, not even on the 2-minute time frame have we closed above this trend line here. So what I love in pattern development is things that have been consistent when they change. Like I that those things stand out to me. And so right now we're kind of basing here. Obviously, we got a wick at the 600 level, but in general, it's really kind of holding firm here. And as long as that trend line holds, it's going to put pressure on that breakdown of the 43 level on the NASDAQ. And so that's something we need to keep our eye on right here. But this is what I love about pattern development. When you have a clean trend line like this, if this 2-minute candle closes above that trend line, that is a behavioral shift against the pattern, which would put a little bit more pressure on the bulls to come through at this 600 level. And so it's just one of those things that I just absolutely love inside that pattern development is when things change, because in pattern development everything stays the same. And then when you make trades as a pattern guy, it's when patterns get broken. So, for example, as the market is forming a bullish retracement down, 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 you're not picking the stock up or the commodity up or the equity up or the futures up as it's going down. You pick it up as it confirms it going back up. That breaks the pattern. When you look at a high base, for example, and prices going up and just consolidating at the top of the pattern, you don't trade inside that pattern. You wait for it to do what? Break outside the pattern. Pattern development tells us the probability of the next move. Confirmation is the insurance that we are right on our analysis in that pattern. And that's what Jesse Livermore said many, many, many years ago. And so do you see how this closes here on the 2-minute time frame? That is a slight, and I do want to emphasize slight, that is a slight behavioral shift because we hadn't closed outside that trend line. Even look at these two tests here. Look at this test here, closed right back down inside trend. Tested here, closed right back down inside trend. And so we're doing micro analysis on the 2-minute chart, but I just wanted to paint that through. Now, when you come through to the 5-minute time frame, have we seen it close yet? No, it's still, I got too many drawing here. So let's just draw this again. And then ultimately we're targeting that. So you look at this here and you're like, okay, 2-minute has shifted. The 5-minute hasn't shifted yet. And that the 5-minute is the time frame that I'm personally trading here. And so you can see that those micro shifts, even though I don't trade the 2-minute time frame, not a lot. I do trade it, but I'm a 5-minute guy. But I love to understand what's happening there because you can see those micro shifts in behavior around the way. But as of right now, I still see this through a bearish lens. Break down here, we can get a good trade here. Maintain, stop loss is adjusted. By the way, let's see. All right. I am adjusting my stop loss down right above 600. By the way, I was a little bit up here when I first made the trade. My stop loss was up here. I adjusted my stop loss underneath, right above this pivot point right here at 600. So I was at 60.30 here because I traded this breakdown candle and I put the stop above pivot point. This was my first adjustment here. I've been in the trade 45 minutes. I've adjusted stop loss one time. I'm what you guys might consider a lazy day trader. Oh, I'd love a flush here because honestly, Jaja, I want to buy. I'm a bull in my heart. Like because in the market cheats for the bulls, I'm a bull, but I would love to get into a bullish reversal conversation. I just like here, if you break back above 600, that's just going to be a short-term trade. You double bottom here, it's at the 440, 450 level. Not only would our trade work out here, but we could get into a pretty interesting pattern development conversation down around that level as well. Let's go spot check gold. Oh, it's looking froggy here. Looking froggy. Look at that. Look at that 2-minute chart, Jaja. Look at that dial in. Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? Going to be interesting. Can you break? Right here, 50. Told you. I told you 50 was the level. Look at it desting over the last 10 minutes. Keep an eye on that one. What's up, Mary? How are you? It's good to see you. Welcome to the lab. We're just geeking out on some intraday analysis. Listen, Mary, like you come in, say hi to me, and you're like, Becky, I miss you. Right? I miss you. I miss you. By the way, you're gonna miss Becky all day long, then, Mary, because Becky will not be here with Power Hour either. And so you got Coach Matt to navigate with here today. And as such, we're going to be talking about a gold long. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's what we're going to be talking about going into Power Hour. And we're going to be continually cheering on this this bear leg filling out this pattern here. I will switch the bullish above 600. I will definitely switch the bullish above that 600 level. By the way, man, I wish I would have carried my trade. I did not carry the whole thing on crude oil, by the way. I wish I would have. The thing is just a monster at this point. By the way, Jaja, if this pullback in crude oil confirms, we're getting our breakdown. Like I'm surprised I didn't get stopped out on this crude oil move to the downside here. All right. So basically, this is where our structure is right here. These stop loss right there, kind of holding firm here, targeting that 40, 50, 60 level down here. And then on GC, kind of went a little aggressive right here above, once it got above 9 EMA. I'm like, all right, we're going to take a partial. And that's all this is on gold right now is a partial playing that low point. My stop loss still underneath that low point. I am going to adjust it to break even because I don't have a lot of trust, and it has not ultimately confirmed on the longer time frames here. Are we flushing? Are we flushing? All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Send it. Send it. Send it. Get those evals if you don't got one. Send it. Let's go. Jump on the bear move here. We got a confirmation candle underneath low. This is what you like to see. By the way, this would be a new trade setup. Obviously, I'm not going to jump on it, but this would be a new trade setup here. Jaja's flushing. Jaja's like, let me get another 40, 50 points here. By the way, now that we're under, since I'm level to level, and this is a standard Coach Matt thing, team, since we've confirmed the breakdown and Ja's yelling flush to his screen, this now allows me to officially start adjusting against the 9 EMA, whereas I couldn't do that as of right now. Sod, I'm already in a short. I'm not looking to short. I entered my short up here on the violation of 600. Right there. So I'm already in a short, but yes. But would I short again? Yes. If I was not already here, this candle would have been a confirmation candle for me. Yes. 5-minute close underneath the 2-minute time frame. Like, you got the scalpers jumping on your team, you got the short form day traders jumping on your team, and you got the long form day traders saying continue, continue, to continue. But this is honestly a simple conversation for me at this point. Either it's going to go to target or I'm going to continue to adjust stop loss. Like, that's, I could kick my feet up right now and just let this one play out. By the way, I know we just kind of geeked out on intraday charts and whatnot in the lab today, but did you guys enjoy the lab today? I know we just kind of talked, and that's kind of what I'm going to do in the technical lab, guys. Just talk about technical analysis as I see it right there. Like, just talk about the patterns we see in the market every day. Let's see this. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Who is currently short? I just like to see who's on the team. Oh, I figured you were, Jaja. I think a couple others are as well. Rich. When you say no fading, and then it just fades. Eric, yes. All right. Yeah, no fading, y'all. Let's get power moves, right? Let's get a power move down to the low point here. Come on, Bulls, just step out of the way. You just got the violation. There's not a reason in the world for the Bulls to pick it up at this point. So, Bulls, just stay out of this conversation for a second. Just literally stay out of it. Just stay out of it. We can have a bullish conversation when it gets to the 50 to 60 level. Like, rip the face off here. We'll have that conversation. Bulls, get out of here. I'm talking as a bull, like to my other team Bulls. Go home. Get out of here. Stay away from this trade. I don't want to just get a stop out 300 gain. Let's go. Rip the face off, Jaja. Actually, I need to confirm my stop loss placement. I want pivot. Okay. Or high. Exactly, Becky. Not today, Bulls. You know what the bear said to the Bulls? Not today, Bulls. Not today. You can have your day tomorrow. Well, it depends on how you want to structure this here. Personally, like, I wouldn't re-enter. Not yet. I would let this play out. But I think if you wanted, I mean, it's riding the 9 EMA, the last four candles. I think you could go right underneath the low point, honestly. Like, if you wanted to structure a very short-term trade, like, you're testing the 9 here, and you're kind of testing the form of breakout, I think you go right underneath the low. But this is the best chance the bulls have had in the last 10 minutes, so I'd wait on it. If I wanted to go aggressive, it would be underneath the low of this candle, though. And I would play basically a very aggressive, tight stop loss type situation right here. Let me see that on a 2-minute, though, just to kind of, yeah, they testy, trying to fight underneath. If that thing does come underneath the low here, and you flip from this type of move to red here, like I would see that back there. So I think you could enter right underneath the low here and just play this bar. Like the 5-minute candle wouldn't allow me to do anything. But if I was fresh and I liked the pocket that we're in and I missed it, like I think you can legitimately play the 2-minute candle now that it's red. By the way, that 2-minute candle told me my stop loss placement was dead accurate. I was a little too tight, honestly. Like I would have got stopped out, by the way. I was a little too tight. I was riding the 9, but I also wanted it above this candle here. And so you see how it tests up, didn't get to that candle. That's the right stop loss placement. So if I get stopped out, like if it flips the script and I get stopped out, no harm, no foul. We'll take it. By the way, I'm not planning on taking a break. Like we're in power hour now. Welcome to power hour. Come on, get us a good power hour, team. I'm not asking for much. I'm just saying, rip the face off, go down to the low, give me a beautiful W reversal formation so that I can buy the market going into the Asian Open. Am I asking for too much? Like, am I trying to be Luke Skywalker and nailing the shot into the Death Star there? Like, just rip your face off, go to support, double bottom, give me a reversal going into the Asian Open. Like, I don't think I'm asking for too much there. Jeez, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Tim, if you love the lab, you love Power Hour, hit that like, leave a comment, help us out with the Google algorithm. You know, that's the real battle. The real battle in the market is not this 60 level here. The real battle in the market is us against the YouTube algorithm. Like Google, everybody's talking bad about you today except me. I'm the one telling everybody that the market's got your earnings wrong. And so all I'm saying is if I'm going to sit there and carry the baton of Team Google here today against a 7% downward movement in price, sitting at the 200-day moving average on a 200% beat against EPS, an increase in guidance and a wonderful earnings report, if I'm going to carry the baton, I'm just saying help us out with the algorithm, Google. That's all I'm saying. Like Wall Street's hating on you today. I'm telling Wall Street they got you wrong. Just help us out with the algorithm, Google. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Send it, Jaja. Come on. There's no reason for the Bulls to be here. We all know it. Romina, I can't read Spanish, my friend, but I'm just gonna say thank you. $417. Jeets $417. I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. If you get a 417, you're underneath wick low. That'd be very good. That'd be very good. I'll take 417. Well, it might be too tight for some there, Mary, but it ain't too tight for me. Just wait till I tighten it up even more. This is me, Mary. Like it's not going to change. When I'm level to level, I'm going to ride the 9 EMA and I'm going to just stop under above wick highs against the 9 EMA. It's just what I do. When I'm trying to capture a trend, I'm much looser on my stop. I would agree with 100% of what you said. Like too tight stop loss, give it room, all of that jazz. Oh, gold, you're still holding firm there. That's amazing. Market's fading and gold's still holding firm. By the way, if I get stopped out on the NQ, I probably am very happy with what's happening on gold on that one. I feel like I got this thing cornered right now, honestly. Like gold, I'm slightly up on gold. It's holding firm. I'm up on the NQ. It's doing what I've asked it to do. If I get stopped out at a profit on the NQ, my gold trade is going to break out. Like I feel like I got the market cornered here. Like baby's in a corner. Let's go. Jaja, can I get a flush? Then dip. Let's go. By the way, the worst earnings report of the day was Tesla. I told you guys yesterday Tesla was going to miss. 90% of companies are beating EPS, and I told you Tesla was going to miss. Tesla missed. Wasn't even close either. Like nasty miss. It didn't even sniff it. You got a little divergence here. Mm. Just do 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 do. All righty. I can't adjust my stop yet. I don't have supporting evidence to do it yet. I'm targeting the low point right here at the 60. Like you see this kind of wick right here. See this wick right here? Hold on. Yeah, gold, you turned. See this wick right here? Boom, boom, boom. That wick, these bodies, but I think you could legitimately target anywhere in that range. You come out to the longer term side, it's all kind of that body right there. So secondary target would be 412. Let me make sure. Yeah, 412, 415, 417 in that range. I would agree with who said 417 earlier? Who said that? I forget who said that. Oh, Jeet did. I would agree with the 417 call out. 412, 417, right? Yeah, but as of right now, I am targeting the 60 level. Flushing another 40 points, we'll be happy here. But we are tightening up this bad boy. No, I just want to spot check. Okay. Man, this thing doesn't want to extend from that 5-minute 9 EMA very much. You get like 2 candle down and then it flatlines back up. 2 candle down, flatlines back up. 2 candle down, flatline back up. Just does not want to extend a lot here. For 420 just for the laugh out. Oh, I'm so in. We've been talking Elon, Jaja. I'm so into that. So can we all just agree 420 is the target here, the secondary target? Like if we get a flush here underneath 460, like let's just all 420 secondary here. Yeah, and obviously in honor of Elon there, Jaja. Like I know he hates short sellers, so he wouldn't be exactly, supporting us on this one. But you know what? I'm fine with that. Again, same thing happening, team. 2 candle down, slowest momentum, retest the 9 EMA. 2 candle down, slowing momentum, retest the 9 EMA. Just doesn't want to extend. No momentum. I mean, it's fading in our direction. We're right on the direction, but man, when did we get that extension candle? Come on, this was such a great extension candle, and then nothing. Bears. The Bulls aren't even here. Like, what are you scared of the Bulls for? They're not here. I don't see a bull. Do you guys see a bull? I don't see a bull here. Not yet, anyways. Bull horns are acting like ostriches right now. I better not make fun too much. Knock on some wood. Judge, I did knock on wood, so it's not my fault if it turns around. All right. Send it now. You didn't even sniff it. Send it. Yeah. Jeez, I'd agree with that. If you're a bull fighting this right here, I don't know what to say. I mean, there's a lot of technical labs you can review on our YouTube channel, I would say. Like, Bulls got to prove it here. Like, Bulls got punched in the face today. Like, Bulls got to prove this out. And I want to be very clear. I completely disagree with every single part of analysis I've seen on Google's earnings today. And I'm just very sorry that our society gets ridiculous analysis out of Wall Street on earnings reports. Like, Google's down today. Google's going to be in my top 4 of the best reports this week. Google cloud growth was at 82%. 82%. What are we talking about? Like 82%. And then Wall Street's going to complain about CapEx spend. Hey, Guess what, geniuses on Wall Street? You don't get to 82% growth in Google Cloud, which is AI platform and subscription, is if you don't put the CapEx spend out there. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Now the bulls are showing up just a little bit. And when I mean bulls, I mean like 3 dudes in Kansas. Hmm. I don't think it's I haven't seen any real bull yet. Not yet. I see all of this as bear on bear crime right now. You bear scalpers locking in profit. I blame Jaw. Keeps locking in profit on us, and it hesitates the momentum. That's how big Jaw is. Getting testy here, team. You speak, mountains burst. And Mary, is my stop too tight? I am questioning it publicly. Maybe got a little ambitious here as I get stopped out, but I'll take it. Not a home run. So has a chance. We'll see. It's probably what I should have waited for, honestly. For it to establish that wick there. I anticipated it kind of hesitating against these 2 wick lows right there. You see these 2 wick lows kind of equate to there. So I anticipated where that wick would form against the 9 EMA. Pretty stinking accurate, to be honest with you. But honestly, I probably should have waited for this candle to adjust underneath that wick high. Kind of like when I adjusted underneath this wick here, down to this wick here, down to that wick there. I just kind of anticipated this is where like these 2 wicks over here on the low point of the breakdown. It's kind of right there as well. So I lobbed it, Jaw. Right, Bulls, you can't carry anything. Let's go. A little bit of battle here, though. We spot check a couple other things. Okay. Do. All right. This is the battle candle, team. Last candle was a test candle. This one's a battle candle. It will be this candle that proves whether or not we are right or wrong on our analysis. Wickety wickety. All right. Topped out. All right. Now let's look some fresh here for me. Some of you might continually be in that. I was a little aggressive with stop loss, no doubt. I still want to see this play out right here. Let me look at where the real level is. Right there. This pivot here at 600. All right. Now, trend is slowing down. Bulls are stepping up, getting above trend line. Okay, you see this through a slowing momentum situation. We didn't get a big time expansion, got a decent expansion here, but not a big time expansion, I'd say, on the breakdown. Good trade, not a great trade, I would say, how it turned out. Now, turning around here, team, very interesting here. Best the Bulls have looked on the 5-minute chart in a minute or so. Looking at the 15-minute time frame, that's a battle. That is a battle. And that is a battle right at the 15-minute 9 EMA right here at the 70 level. So we're looking right there, that wick high, kind of at the 68. Let's come back out to the 5 to navigate. All right. So we got 35 minutes to go, team, and Coach Matt is flat and still looking. But I'm going to need some development here. Like usually when things start shifting, I don't immediately shift. I do have an opinion at this level right here, the 600 level. Like I have a strong opinion at the 600 level. I don't have a strong opinion at right here, but we are going to close above the 5-minute 9 EMA for the first time since really here. And a little bit of bull horns here. That's undeniable at this point. So like, there's a 30-point range here that's interesting. Like for the scalpers, I would say anything closes above this trend line, I think you got an edge to that scalp zone at 600, 605. For me, and I don't know if we have enough time in the day for this, it'll have to develop fairly quickly. I will short underneath 500 here. I'll reshort. That is a significant whole number and obviously played a role in this entire ball game. So you got this 500 level of support, you got this 600 level of resistance, and you got this little pivot point right here at the 70 level. So me, I'm not going to get froggy inside the middle of a slowing momentum range here. I will look at it through a bullish lens at 600, and I'll look at it through bearish continuation analysis at 500. And so that's my read on the NASDAQ while we will let that play out. Gold here, team. Now, Mary, I agree with this one. I did have a 2 times stop loss on my gold trade because I did get stopped out. But gold is actually looking fairly decent here, team. Let's take a look at that one here on the GC contract. Yeah, a little GC 50 action here. Jaja, thank you. You're more than welcome. I know you got 2 shorts there. I think you caught 2 shorts there. This is a good short trade. Um, I'm very interested in letting this gold situation play out. Obviously, I'm flat here, but I'm very interested in watching this one play out. Like that thing, that support level right here on GC, the 40-40 level we were talking about earlier. Like that thing is built in stone, rock, cement. Can it get some lift off? Very interesting. Looking at this trend line here. Kind of a little shift in structure here. Just waiting on a pattern I feel comfortable with, honestly. Usually the descending triangle break back up isn't usually good enough for me. But very, very interesting look to gold here today. And that thing doesn't want to budge the 40-43 level. Come back over to the NQ contract. Seeing that play out just a little bit. Let's come over to the ES contract. I always do that. Yes. Yeah, not bad. Kind of busted up that trend line too, but very similar to the read on the NQ, I would say. I think the NQ has a little bit of a cleaner structure in general than the ES. So I'm going to stay on the NQ. Keep an eye on GC too, team. Flat, not going to force the action. It's been a good trading day so far. Just going to be a little bit patient here as we let things play out. Sometimes I feel like I want to be like Coach Becky and really kind of push it after a good trading session, just like see what we can do. I feel a little bit more aggressive, but I don't have a lot of confidence in the analysis as of right this very second. So I love to see patterns play out. I'm a pattern guy, I'm a level guy, and I'm a pattern guy. So I don't just trade candles. Candles help me understand the complete story of the pattern. But as of right now, we don't have a pattern. Not on the 5-minute chart. We don't have a pattern yet. Which is very, very, very routine after you get stopped out writing the 9 EMA. It takes a minute to reassess. All right, now starting to get up into 600 here, team. Should have hit the reverse down here against trend line. Boom, boom, boom. Could have doubled up to catch up. Um, this is where I like to see patterns develop. I have an opinion at the level right here. You got some room up to the next pivot. Like, just dial this in. And what I mean by dial it in, guys, like no real pattern happens in one candle. No real pattern happens in two candles. In fact, you need three candles just to confirm a pivot. And if you need three candles to confirm a pivot, you're going to need more than one or two to really kind of identify a pattern. So the minimum that you can see here is like 3 or 4 candles dialing in what's called a high base here, where you can see that high base consolidation, but it's got to produce like you this is just my opinion, but I don't think anybody should have a strong opinion on the Nasdaq right now. Like legitimately, it's just base neutrality on the 5-minute chart with a resistance at 600 and a support at 500, and you don't have an edge. Doesn't mean you can't try to, pick up the high and sell at the low. I'm not saying that, but if you're waiting on a pattern within that range, like you need to see 2, 3, 4 candles here. And so I'm just, not really wanting to take it one way or the other right now. I'll tell you, I will take it as a positive if it kisses cleanly off the 9 EMA and bounces right back up, though. Like that will be a positive. If it closes underneath that 9 EMA, we're probably in store for some chop suey coming into the close here. Doo, doo, doo. Just a nasty 2 candle. Really? Really, Bulls? Just to get beat up here at resistance? Come on. By the way, I will not do anything inside range. Like I don't see an edge. Again, some of you might on lower time frames. I'm not judging that or talking about that. Obviously, different time frames have different reads, but on the 5-minute chart, which is kind of what I'm structuring here, like this thing's too sensitive in between the 500 and the 600 level. This is one of those scenarios where I want to see it work to the ranges and then expand outside the ranges. Yeah, Mary. Exactly. 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 Like you have that innate initial desire to always do something, you know what I mean? Like you're like, okay, I feel like I have an edge. Let's test it. Let's test it. Let's test it. Let it play out. Let it play out. I'm gonna let it play out. I don't see anything yet. Let it play out. But I do agree. Patience test. Yes. But this is the first time bulls have showed up like legitimately in since over here. And even over here, I'm not sure they were real big time bulls. Maybe they're not here either. But I do think it's undeniable that the bulls are here. This isn't just bearish locking in profit. We didn't have expansion in the move to do that. So, going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. And what a battle candle. Big time increase in volume. Like, not a directional move here. Volume over the last 5 candles is slowly but surely creeping up as well. Okay. What is the ES doing here? Look at something. My goodness, Justice. Stop doing that. Whole lot of nothing on the ES. Look at GC. Still battling. I'm impressed with gold's battle. But am I impressed to participate in said battle right now? No. But I am impressed. Keep battling. Maybe I'll join you. About 20 minutes left in power hour, 13 minutes till imbalances team. Like, look at it. Like, what are you supposed to do with these three candles here? Like any of this. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, why have a strong opinion on that? Big up, big down, big up, big down, big up, big down, everywhere, all around, nowhere, all simultaneously. Like, ooh, go above that level. Oh, wick, get above the top. Nope, get underneath that wick. Oh, nope, wicks everywhere. It just makes sense to have a big wick on the down, big wick on the top, and then a morning star doji expanded wicks in between. Like, that's why I say you shouldn't have a strong opinion yet. Like, the market is clearly telling us in the last 7 minutes that it does not have an opinion yet. Like, the market itself does not have an opinion yet. And if the market itself doesn't have an opinion, you shouldn't. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I wish I could say it a little bit more gracefully. But if the market doesn't have an opinion, I don't know why we should. No, Jeets. I know. I was going into the 2-minute time frame to kind of just give that lower view to why I said I don't have an opinion yet. I'm not looking to trade the 2-minute time frame right now. I'm still anchoring on my 5-minute chart, but like the 2-minute time frame is just like that has to pick a direction and show some degree of consistency for me. So it was more just to understand what's going on with the volatility over the last 10 minutes on the 5-minute candle, but just crazy wiki. Like, but like that just needs to get cleaned up more than anything. Like, how do you clean up chop? Work to the level, break the level, work to the level, break the level. Like, we're at 50, our level's at 600 and our level's at 500, give or take a couple ticks, obviously. But and it's choppy as all get out there. Like, okay. That's just me saying I don't have an opinion yet. Say la vie, let it play out, let it smooth out, let the volatility decline a little bit. Let's get a better edge. By the way, this is why I put my stop above the 9 EMA on level to level, because once it gives up, usually see some battle zones like this. For those of you who are now just joining us, we're in the middle of Power Hour. We had a great lab early in the session where we took a short on the NASDAQ. We were managing that trade throughout the first half of Power Hour. Got stopped out here just about 20 minutes ago and just kind of looking at what needs to occur next for that next trade setup to occur. And just looking at the level right here on the pivot and looking at the level right here on the pivot, not seeing a lot of momentum shifts here, just some battles, quite frankly. Some pretty aggressive battles, like more aggressive battles than I was anticipating here. But welcome out to the stream. Welcome out to BluSky. If you are new to BluSky, hit that subscribe button because we go live every single day and you certainly want to get notified. Hit the like as well. You know we're going to bring the lightning and the thunder every single day, so you might as well just hit that like on the way into the session, not on the way out. We always appreciate that as we fight the eternal battle with the Google algorithm. Again, Google, I said positive things about you today. Give us some love on the algo. I know that's kind of like a Becky special where breaks trend line, snap back to trend line. Always an interesting little battle right there. Looks like bears are trying to reassert control here. All right. What do we got here? 2 minutes left in the candle. Close to 500. Doji the next. Maybe we front run going imbalances here, team. I could see it. I could see it. I don't want to chase this red candle, so I will like a breakdown though. And after today, I would think coming into the close, the bulls are hesitant. They would want to alleviate some. Especially since every night we see escalation on the geopolitical side of the equation. By the way, crude oil and gold are going to be both fun trading environments tonight. All right. Here's where we get a little bit testy. Again, I will not chase that candle on a breakdown. If I would already have an order in underneath the low price. I'd love to see a doji next candle. Dial that in, bring that 90 MA down just a little bit, and let us structure around that candle. Because right now, I think you would have to put a stop loss above candle high, and I just don't think you have the return to justify it yet. If you're trading that 5-minute time frame. Now, this is the candle right here, team. Just speaking technically here, you want to see it stay inside the trend line here and the horizontal support level here. So you got the trend line here about the 2022 level, and you got the horizontal support level right around 500 here. Like perfect development here would be a inside candle, meaning inside this previous candle, which would dial in this momentum here. And that would be a pretty good look, quite frankly. And if that happens, I could go underneath the low, but I think you can go underneath the low here at any point. Like this is a really clean level of support. Anything underneath 500, I think you got an edge down to our ultimate lows down here. So I don't know. What do you think, Jaja? Send it? Is it send it time? What do you think, team? Is it send it? Is it send it? Am I gonna have to wait for you guys to answer? Like, is it send it? Yeah, I think it's send it time. I think it's send it time, team. Let's watch this one play out. Yeah, I think it's send it. We'll see. We'll see. But I didn't love the structure. I felt I was chasing a little bit. Probably should have waited for one more candle, to be perfectly blunt. But I thought it was worthy to send it on a break. Don't love it. It is definitely a C plus B minus setup, I would say. But good break. Bears reasserting under a significant whole number. I got a bad fill. Definitely got a bad fill. That's my bad on the bad fill. Well, if it's going to break the day low, I should double up my contracts there, Jeets. Like let's go full port position here. I should have waited. I was open about it. Should have waited for that candle. I knew better than the chase, but I still like the trade. But in reality, I should have waited for a low inside candle development to structure on the low inside candle development. And then I would have had a much better return versus risk, and I would have had a much better probability. But on a breakdown, you got to make a decision if you're ready to go or not. Rich, I blame you. Which means if it works out, I give you credit. All right. Who's short, who's long going into imbalances here? I got a partial going into imbalances on a C plus setup. Not exactly my rip your face off winning strategy, I would say. But let me know who has action going into imbalances. Imbalances come out in right about a minute. Do you know how much trust I really have here? It's that. That's how much trust I really have here. What if you're wrong? Well, it's going to break right back up above that resistance level. And I am still above, technically, I'm still above trend line there. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's scale that so we can watch it a little bit easier. You guys are dancing on a breakdown. Come on. We don't need the tango. Yeah. There's that imbalances candle. I knew it, by the way. P plus setup. Watch this thing pump up, stop out, come right back down. Just watch it, Jaw. Just watch it. We saw it yesterday, right? Saw that initial move. I think it was like the initial move was up, then right back down. So watch it do the exact same thing here. That does mean I'm officially done for the day, though, Jaja. Like, took a stab going into imbalances. Don't mind it. C plus setup. Probably shouldn't have done it, quite frankly, but it is what it is. Imbalances got me. Yeah, it ripped in seconds, and now it's like, oh wait, are we really ripping? Jaja, it was a way fun session. Did you guys have fun today? Did you guys enjoy the lab and power hour today? Let me know, team, in chat if you had a good time today in the lab and you had a good time in power hour. You enjoyed the analysis, the conversations, the fun, all that jazz. Make sure to hit the like on the way out the door. I'm gonna hang out here for a couple minutes, guys. If you have any questions, want to chit chat, talk geopolitics, earnings, I'm gonna hang out for a minute, but I am officially done trading for the day. That stopped me out on imbalances, and I'm not going to do anything outside of that. So good day though. Ooh, fun day too. I don't want to say it was a fun day. It's a fun day trading day. Let's say that. It was a really fun day trading day. I'm still not happy with Google. Actually, I'm very happy with Google. They did a great job last quarter. They're going to be a juggernaut for the eternity of time. And Wall Street can stop complaining about certain things. But good day trading day. See, a 2-second rip your face off liquidity stop hunt just to come back down to the exact same price in development. Like, whatever. Whatever, Mr. Market. Like, I don't see your nonsense today. I see it. I'm calling it out. I like it when it supports me. I don't when it doesn't. Yes, that is hypocritical, but we're traders. We're the biggest flip-floppers in the history of mankind, even more than politicians, guys. Politicians flip-flop with the best of them. Nobody flip-flops like a trader flip-flops. Traders go from buying to selling in the same session. Thomas, thank you for being here. Let's look at crude oil. Yeah, there's turnaround story. That's shocking. That's a little bit shocking, honestly, that the bulls didn't take even more. Like, crude oil's been fade, and the bulls still can't get any love there. GC, nice reversal playing out on GC. Keep an eye on the Asian session here tonight. Yeah, I don't think we're done talking about crude oil in the 90s there, Jeets. I'm right there with you. Like, I, for one, am hoping for de-escalation. I'm hoping for resolution. I'm hoping for peace and prosperity and great, easy analysis for traders. I'm hoping for all of those things, right? But what I'm reading out there for 13 consecutive days is escalation. And what I'm seeing over the last 24 hours is more escalation. And it looks like we're in tap for more escalation, and that is going to be a pretty nasty environment for oil. And here's the worst part about the market. Like, just speaking from a fundamental perspective very quickly, like, in the last month, you've had good inflationary data, good CPI report, good PPI report. We haven't been really kind of dancing the interest rate conversation of 3 interest rate hikes by the end of the year. Well, with what's happening with crude oil over the last 2 weeks, that wiped out all that positivity. Like we're now right back into interest rate hike conversations, elevated inflation, capping out overall performance, and it's honestly a little bit frustrating um because of the uncertainty out there right now. But I, for one, am hoping for more peaceful resolutions moving into the future, but we will have to wait and see on that. All right, team. I had an absolute ton of fun hanging out with you guys over the last couple hours. If you guys love Blue Sky, love BluSky TV, love the technical, love Power Hour, hit that like on the way out the door. Go over to Blue Sky, hit the link in the description below. Go get yourself a nice little valuation. Come have some fun with us as we're navigating the market on a day in, day out basis. Team, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being the best part of Blue Sky. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today in Power Hour in the lab. And I'll see you on Monday during Power Hour with Coach Becky and the podcast on Monday as well. But everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day.